So, embracing the shift. This is one of those markets that it never seems to make a difference how much you try to embrace the shift right this minute, because as soon as you get comfortable with it, another round is coming and another round. So, what I really wanted to work on was teaching you how to pivot and thrive as things are changing. Because right now we're in a hard market. We're seeing a position where buyers are scared to make a decision, move forward. We're seeing higher mortgage interest rates. Those are hard. But we're also going to see the flip side now that we're starting to see inflation's getting out of control. The Feds are going to raise those Fed fund rates again, and we're going to see this flip again. So the timing of this class is really great because it's time to help you get ready to pivot and thrive in the current market and the shifting one we're about to have. So obviously, I'm Julie Herman. In the chat is normally Carrie Ann. She actually has the time off. She went and enjoyed a little mini vacation. She is my everything. She's my fantastic licensed loan assistant. Together, we make the Herman Mortgage team. Working with us feels different. We're an elite team. We merge technology, old fashioned customer service, and education into strategic mortgage planning, and we gear that towards every client's individual needs. We cut down the confusion by empowering your clients to overcome financial and credit struggles, and we get them ready and able to actually produce becoming home owners. So inside our mortgage team is our in-house lending, underwriting, funding, everything's together. We make home ownership a reality for millions every year. We bring you weekly lattes with a shot of mortgage knowledge every Tuesday at 9:30. And then like today, the monthly agent workshop to help you strategically navigate your business through changing markets and environments. So I'm here to help you today, tomorrow, and in a mortgage emergency, whatever you need, I'm here. Part of my value proposition to you is I want you to become the expert. I want to empower you so that you feel confident and comfortable in everything happening in the market, and that together we can become a solution driven team to help your customers get over the hurdles. We want to help lead you to hit your goals of whatever that is. And whatever that goal is, maybe it's just more time with your family or stronger business, more income. Whatever the case is, I'm here to help you hit that goal. Of course, shameless plug. This is what I do. I love using Facebook as a way to connect you. So make sure you're part of the Empowering Real Estate Agent Facebook private group. If you don't see it often, I post at least 3 to 4 times a week. You sometimes just have to go and look for that group because Facebook's algorithm will purposely keep it down on the lower side since it's a private and closed group. I put more content in here. I do a lot of the email, the monthly content that I send to my VIPs. And then inside the class or inside the Facebook group too, I try to put a lot of other strategic things. So let's just get moving. The first known lighthouse was erected in Egypt between 200 and 280 BC, and it stood 450 feet high. The lighthouse, unfortunately, is no longer standing, but it survived 1,500 years. Back when they didn't have ways to just easily construct an item that's 450 feet tall. That's amazing. It survived many Egyptian regimes and conflicts, even the one that resulted in the destruction of the Library of Alexandria. In 1994, a team of French archaeologists dove into the water off of Alexandria's eastern harbor and discovered some remains of this lighthouse on the seafloor. The lighthouse is one of the seven wonders of the ancient world. Now, I bet you didn't come here to get a history lesson today, that you just never know what to expect with me, but I'm going to tie this in together. So, lighthouses have long been used as a way to help guide vessels safely in and out of harbors. And if you think about it, as professionals in the real estate business, you're a lighthouse, just maybe not as tall. See, I told you I'd tie it in there. The current market definitely has choppy water for all of us navigating. It's become definitely more challenging and it just constantly changes. That's what keeps us on our toes. For some of us, maybe we need to sharpen dormant skills. For others, you might be feeling lost and need a guide. But regardless of where you are today, my intention is to be your lighthouse to help guide you so you can recharge your light and guide your clients. Today, I'm going to share some information to help you navigate this market, recharge your batteries, and help you become a 450-foot tall lighthouse. So let's get on it. As always, chat function works. So if you need something, drop it in the chat, text me, connect with me after class, whatever you need. So here's our scheduled event. In this conversation, we'll explore how to find the right words to say now, overcoming uncertainty, solutions for cancellations, price reductions, and buyer affordability, unlocking inventory, and where you're going to be able to find that next motivated person. So to make sure you're here and connected, do me a favor, give me a thumbs up in the chat or scream yes in the chat just so that I know that you are 100% engaged and ready to go. Uncertainty is killing your deal. When people don't feel confident, what do they do? And it doesn't matter. You could be unconfident about your hair. You could be nervous about a change in your outfit. You could be scared of buying a vehicle. You could be terrified of this current market. And when that happens, you do nothing. Or worse, you back away and you completely hide. The media is never on our side. This is an article from July 2018, not 2022. 2018, the media headlines back then were talking about housing crashes coming. They've been saying this for years. Every major media outlet is amplifying the uncertainty of the housing market and forecasting doom and gloom. This is how they sell. If there's no fear, why would anyone watch the news? This has always been the way that news works. It's what sells stories. It's the headline, the fear factor, creating uncertainty. So people tune in every week to stay in the know. The question on everybody's minds right now, including all your clients, is where are the foreclosures and are they coming? So look at these headlines. The cooling housing market enters into the great deceleration. Home prices decelerate as the home housing market downshifts. Buying a home at the wrong time can backfire a big way. Here's why it might pay to wait. Headlines terrify versus clarify for customers. And I say that again, headlines terrify, they don't clarify. Whose job is it to clarify? It's our job. And we're in this together. We are the professionals who know the real estate stats, who understand the market, and we need to clarify to the masses that the news isn't giving them a real picture. Because you and I both know if clients wait to buy a house until next year, they are going to be paying more and they're going to be getting outbid. The Fed hiked rates by 75 basis points. So the average consumer, do they even understand what that means? In their mindset, what they understand is on a macro level, it means that borrowing money is getting more expensive. And then that's an issue for the bottom line. So that impact means that it's more expensive for them to make difference, make changes. People borrow less and then afford less. So they hit the pause button, it scares them. So we need to know how to explain the real impact of the Fed raising interest rates. And I covered this in a class back in April. So let me know if you want a link to that replay. It was all about how inflation works in our economy, and it's a gas. It helps speed the economy when we're too low, and they increase Fed rates to slow down the economy when things are going too fast. So write down this message or send me a message after class and I'll send this to you. But this is how to explain to your audience. The Fed funds rate is the overnight borrowing rate for banks. It's not the same as mortgage rate. So how does the move in the Fed fund affect mortgage rates? Well, mortgage rates are primarily driven by inflation, which right now we're at a 41-year high. When the Fed hikes the Fed rate, they are trying to slow the economy and curb inflation. If the Fed is successful in cooling inflation, mortgage rates will eventually decline. History proves this during rate hike cycles for the past 50 years. Mortgage rates are controlled by the sale of mortgage backed securities and coupons on the stock exchange. When the economy is in a negative spot, stock markets lose money. So the job of your investors is to sell that stock that's going to hurt their clients and move it to where it's safe. Where they're going to move it to is mortgage-backed security. It's the only coupon that someone can purchase, and it's a guarantee to return the same face value when the coupon expires. They use this as a way to hold cash until that market changes, and then they adjust it back to stock. Otherwise, if they just cash their client stock out each time, their clients will have to pay taxes on that capital gain. So you see how they just move it from one investment to the other. If any of you have spouses or you have your own retirement account set up right now, if you look on the back of all the companies that you're invested into, depending on the balancing that you've done or risk factors on your account, you might have a little or a lot in something called UMBS. That's the mortgage-backed security. That is the safe part of your retirement stocks because you purchase that coupon at face value. It's probably going to appreciate, but worst case scenario, you get that same face value back when your retirement comes to an end. So the low rate during COVID was caused by massive sell-off in the stock market. And then the federal government buying billions of dollars worth of coupons kept those mortgage rates low because now we have this heavy appetite for investors to purchase. They overbought on those coupons because the government wanted to help. And then that caused the lowest interest rates we've ever seen. We never in our life have we been in a position where there was $1 billion of mortgage-backed securities being purchased every month. It was too many investors purchasing. That caused interest rates to drop all the way into the low twos. And I even seen them one time hit the high one. That won't probably ever happen again because that was a way overdoing on the government's part. At the same time, the government wanted to ensure that the economy didn't collapse during COVID. So they created that stimulus bill and stimulated the economy by reducing the Fed fund rate. So it was negative. So businesses could make money by borrowing, which increased their profits to allow them to hire more people. Then they gave stimulus money to the economy, helping people to buy things. So this created inflation. On top of that, just the fact, obviously, that trying to get goods into the economy was really difficult, so that supply and demand caused issues. So now, when I explain that all, I know that it makes sense right now at the moment. How it affects the future is right now, inflation's really high. Companies are making a ton of money when people buy goods. People are slowing down their spending because the inflation's too high, it's too expensive to buy the same goods. So right now, companies are making money. Investors are not going to sell these stocks yet. But as soon as that inflation starts to hurt their companies and you start seeing companies go through unemployment, the goods start getting into the store and too much stockpile, so they start giving discounts at the stores, all of a sudden this stock value that was here is going to be worth here. They're going to quickly sell the stock, move it to mortgage-backed securities. Interest rates are going to come down. I am hoping and anticipating that we should see mortgage interest rates come down somewhere between the end of this year and beginning of 2023. We're going to get another notice that the feds are going to raise the Fed fund again in September, so about another week from now. That's going to raise another 75 bps. That is going to potentially make mortgage interest rates just a little bit more expensive. In the meantime, mortgage interest rates move daily, so they go up and down depending on the reports that are out there. So I hope that gives you some clarity on why the rates are changing so much and how the Fed fund affects interest rates. What we need to do is help our clients to understand that right now interest rates are high, but they're also in a position to negotiate for their houses again. And if they can purchase today and wait, they'll be in a position soon to be able to refinance. So what can you control? You can't control the market and you can't control the media. You can control the controllables, which are your mindset and attitude, your knowledge and skills, your actions, and how you show up in the current market. to help educate your buyers and sellers, showcasing to them how professional you are and why they want to trust you going forward. So let's start with what you want to say right now. What you say and how you respond in the current market is really critical. Again, people are scared and uncertain, and there's a lot of headwinds in the housing market. So for some of us, it's a time to exercise our dormant sales skills and marketing muscles. You haven't had to use them in a while, other than negotiating for buyers, and now we need to work those out again. More than ever, you need to trust in your lender partnership. You do not want to confuse your client more by saying, go shop for a cheaper rate. A cheaper rate might cost you your paycheck because poor customer service, lack of information, and high closing costs is going to cause your client to pause and stray away from buying. If you think a cheap rate is going to get your clients comfortable with buying a home in this market, you're playing with fire. You need to have a built team of professionals that you trust, because these people hold your paycheck for you until that loan closes. What are you hearing right now when you ask people what is going on in the market? People everywhere are saying we're in a housing bubble and I'm going to wait it out. So that's Mr. Know It All. If you're not hearing this kind of reply right now, you're simply not talking to enough people or asking enough questions. What you say matters. If you want to overcome buyer seller reluctance, stop selling. Start helping. Start listening to your customers' worries and fears and understanding where they're coming from. Our job is not to convince people to convert to be a buyer. It's our job to be the guide in their journey, to understand their fears and worry and show them the information and statistics to help guide them to work with a lender that educates and empowers them. The more that we can educate the client and I can walk through with them what's happening with the Fed fund rate, how it affects rate, and help give them power in understanding how the market works, they feel wonderful about making a decision to purchase. When they don't know, they're uncertain, and that uncertainty kills their ambition to purchase a home. You want to have a specific reply and key points depending on who you're talking to, of course. When asked, how's the market, is going to depend on what that person is looking for. Are they buying? Are they selling? Do they want to invest right now, or are they going to be renting? There's a lot of chaos and confusion, so context will really matter how you respond. What is the current market where you are? Remember, 4 to 6 months of inventory is a balanced market. So in a buyer's market, supply is greater than demand. There are more people looking to sell homes than there are people looking to buy homes. That was the 2008 market. Seller's market, the demand is greater than supply, overbidding on homes during pricing wars, and waiving of all contingencies. Our clients have no protection. What are you seeing today in your direct market? How long are homes sitting? And what price are they going for compared to what they listed for? So you and I know if the house is listed right, marketed right, in the perfect neighborhood, it's going to go over asking price. If the home is marketed wrong, in the wrong neighborhood, lacking something really big, it's going to be a harder home to sell. And that's the normal market that we should be in. But in this current market with the interest rate, it's scaring people away. So it's making it a really hard market for sellers to sell in, but not completely. It's not all the way one way and it's not all the way the other. Who has the momentum? What we're seeing right now is buyers are getting what they could not have gotten just a few months ago or even 2 years ago. There are more houses to choose from, less multiple bid offers to compete against. Buyers are getting seller concessions like closing costs and interest rate buy downs, and that's offsetting the rise in their interest rates, making their house more affordable. So let's explore some of these options. You have to match your message to that market. And what is the current market? And for our clients, they're seeing confusion, uncertainty, and fear. Think about the content or conversations you have been having so far with your clients. Have they been helpful conversations? Have they been hurting conversations? Has the lender that worked with that person, did they help or did they hurt with that client and their confusion and their frustration? In times of chaos, people seek context. They're saying, help me make sense of what's happening. And so, how do we do that? What do you do to help them understand why we're not going in the ring of flames like 2008? You help guide people with education and information. Now is the ideal time to showcase your expertise with educational content. Now, I like keeping current matters for their content. It's completely free to use their graph and to help people look at that information. I do not advocate for their subscription, and I do not think it's a great idea just to take their content and just share it to your social media. I think it's a really great spot, though, to go and get pieces that you need for the education content. And you're going to see that in the coming slides. So, my slides are going to show them now is still a great time to buy or sell because it really is. What I'm doing is explaining equity position. I'm using that to buy a home that fits my client's current needs. This is how we work with the current mortgage market and structure that to become retirement and passive income. I have clients right now that are selling homes, paying off all of their debt, purchasing another home with a 10% down, and putting money in the bank. That is huge. I have not seen that kind of a market in a very long time. So are you a student of the market or is this going to be a new skill set for you? How are economic pressures working for and against buyers and sellers? And are you prepared to respond to what most people are seeing from the media? So let's talk about some of those suggestions. Use housing data to create confidence. This is matching your message to the market. So let's look at some of the examples. There are three types of housing markets. We've got appreciation, that's of course home values going up, depreciation, home values come down, deceleration, values going up but at a slower pace. If you're a buyer or seller in today's market, you probably want to know what's going to happen when home prices move forward. Will they continue that same growth path or will home prices fall? Experts are forecasting ongoing appreciation, but at a decelerated pace. And this is where the market is getting things confused and clients are getting confused. So prices are going to keep climbing, but they're just not as fast as they have been. So if you compare them straight year to year, it looks like homes are depreciating, but home values are still increasing, just not as fast as last year. And that's a really good thing. We can't afford for the market to stay the same as it was last year. You need to know your market data and then share that. Here are three things that you should know from the MLS and share all the time. You need to know active pending flows in the last 30 days, price reductions, and list to sales price ratio. This is great information to really share on video or clients that you're having conversations with. Show it in a newsletter every month to clients that have been thinking about buying or selling so that they can see statistically in the areas that they want to live, what is that market doing? This is going to be huge to help you clarify what the news is getting wrong. Your home price forecast. And this is a great swipe and use report, again, from Keeping Current Matters. Fannie Mae predicts homes are going to go up 11% this year. CoreLogic says 9. NAR and Zelman are tied at 8.5, and MBA is the lowest at 2.5%. It's going to be somewhere in the middle because again, it's going to depend on when those interest rates drop. When rates drop, house prices are going to skyrocket again. Here we're taking the average of all the appreciations in that prior graph, and then we estimate 5% growth in a home. So if that sold for $309,000 in January 2022, it's going to gain a potential $102,000 in equity in 5 years. This is why we need to show this to clients so they feel very confident in their decision moving forward. Their house that they live in today is going to be a wealth builder for their retirement plans tomorrow. That's a really great thing for them to understand is how this equity can grow. A 5-year investment making 102,000, you can't make that on any other stock. This is fantastic. So now we're seeing an increase in inventory too. Without proper context around inventory though, buyers get nervous. Up until recently, there was virtually zero inventory. Sellers couldn't sell because they had nowhere to go, and lack of goods made it impossible for home builders to finish and produce quality of homes needed or quantity of homes needed. We don't have an excess supply of inventory like we did in 2008. We're entering a more normalized market of inventory, but we still have more demand than capacity and will for several years for the foreseeable future because of that birth increase that we had years ago. Number of homes for sale across the country is growing, and that means more options for those thinking about buying a home. And then this is the opportunity that many have been waiting for because last year they were getting outbid and outpriced. So this is why it's their perfect time to actually go and pick up the home. They can get contingencies, they can get things covered, they could be an FHA buyer with down payment assistance again and actually get their offer accepted. This is why we're not likely going to see housing prices drop. This is the 14-year housing shortage. So that red bar, that represents the years leading up to the housing crisis in 2008. Because the graph shows right before the crash, home building increased significantly. Those of you that remember, there was new home build construction zones everywhere. Buyer demand was so high due to loose lending standards, and people qualified for way more home than they ever could. ARM, adjustable rate mortgages, people only had to qualify for the beginning rate. That's like getting a credit card and maxing it out and your interest rate going up 10% within a few months. You can't afford that payment. That's what happened in 2008. People were buying multiple homes and then vacating their current house to go live into their brand new construction home because they were qualified for both. And they went into an arm on the new home. The first home didn't sell because there was housing everywhere. Why would somebody want to buy their house? And then their payment went up so fast, so much, they couldn't afford it. That's what really happened to the '08 market. We're in a completely different market. So this inventory is increasing this year. And as the market moderates, supply is still really low though. The graph helps tell the story of why there still aren't enough homes on the market today. And this is what your clients need to see so that they feel comfortable in your information. We're not going to start building enough homes ever. Why would a builder ever put themselves in a position again to build too quickly and not capitalize on the money? You will see builders stay in their lots a lot longer and just slowly release homes as it's going, simply because a couple things. One, they don't have to come up with the cash up front to be able to pay for all of the materials and everything. And second, now they can keep increasing those prices over and over. They're smart to do it that way. Why wouldn't they? I would too. So now we have an overwhelming amount of people that want to purchase, not enough homes being built. And we also have an overwhelming amount of investors who purchased that properties when those interest rates were super low. So we have this large surplus of adults ready to enter the housing market. We have a ton of homes that are stuck as investment properties that aren't going to be released anytime soon. We have people that are living longer and staying in their homes. They don't move into adult living usually. They don't move into nursing homes very often anymore. And builders are keeping inventory tight. We're going to see a supply issue for years. So what about all those forbearance loans? Because 89% of single family homeowners went into forbearance, right? Well, those that sought the financial assistance through COVID, 89% of those people have exited the plan already. So one of the things that the news gets wrong is a lot of times they will say foreclosures are up 190%. Well, during COVID, foreclosures were illegal. So we had zero. So if you have one house enter foreclosure, that's 100% increase. So this is where the media keeps getting the information wrong, and that's why people think housing crash is going to happen. So according to CoreLogic, since 2012, home prices have risen continuously, and that's provided borrowers with huge amounts of home equity. At the end of the first quarter of this year, the average borrower had 280,000 in home equity. That's a gain of 64,000 over the past year and 125,000 over the past 5 years. And that's throughout the entire country. People cashed it out. They paid off entire houses, they paid off debt, and other people are now just sitting on that equity, not sure what to even do with it. Trust me, if I was struggling to make a mortgage payment, I would never go through a foreclosure in this market. I would sell my house, take that cash, move it into a rental, and pay my rent for 1 to 2 years up front and still have money left over. I recently had a client that I could not do a cash out refinance for. Their credit was completely destroyed by their credit card. We talked about the car that they had, and I looked it up and made some calls. They are actually able to turn around and sell that car for an $18,000 profit. So in this market, as we all know, it was hard to get cars. It was a demand issue again. So this guy turned around that 18,000, actually was 18,500 for his vehicle. He used that to pay off the credit card, and they already had a second vehicle. So in reality, they didn't even need that new car that they had sitting there that they couldn't really afford. So this is what people are doing with the housing. And that's why we had so many people move out of our areas. But again, we have such a high demand of buyers that it didn't help with inventory. Experts don't believe the market is a bubble or crash. The nation is suffering from a housing shortage and it's going to keep prices getting higher. The man who doesn't believe in getting a mortgage is telling people to go buy a home. Have you guys heard his talk show? Dave Ramsey is so against any kind of debt, any kind of credit card, any kind of house payment, anything. And he is on his podcast, every station possible that will pick him up. He is telling people right now is the best time to buy a house in the next 5 years. Prices are not going down. They are not going to slow. They're not going to go down. If interest rates go down, refinance, but don't wait to buy waiting for interest rates to come down. That says a lot. I'm not a Dave Ramsey fan. I don't like the way that he markets to the budgeting. I don't think it's a safe, logical way to budget, but I don't disagree with him because we all know there is no way the house prices are coming down. This is how we need to educate our customers. Low demand, high supply equal price reduction. You see this every year after Christmas when all those products that were brought into the stores didn't sell. That's why we have Christmas sales and after year sales and specials and stuff because you had high supply and low demand. But high demand, low supply is going to mean prices go up. We saw this on vehicle, inflation, gas, food, energy, you name it. Lower supply levels and high demand will cause prices to go up more and more and more. You're going to see this soon in California. To clarify, he's against mortgage. I agree with Annalise. She says to clarify, he's against private mortgage insurance, not mortgages. It's a necessary evil, which is honestly correct. I agree and disagree. So we have houses. And the last house that we purchased, we only put down 10%. We could do more. My private mortgage insurance was going to be $42 a month. I know where rates and values are going, so I actually would have always kept that extra 10% into high yield savings and put down the minimum on a house. And that's where him and me always fight against each other, just on his mindset. Because if you can have money sitting in a savings account earning you 8 to 11% return, even if you take out the mortgage percentage that you lose on that and you keep an account going for an extra 4 years with 5% in there, that's going to make you more money than not having the private mortgage insurance. But see, that's where that could be a great conversation, Annalise, that you have online with clients. That's a really great conversation to have with them and talking about that. And when clients come to me and I educate them, I do an hour-long Zoom with them. After I do a full video presentation, I would go through how private mortgage insurance works and where to move money from and how much they would lose on retirement or what makes sense to them. And 9 times out of 10, clients want to keep the private mortgage insurance for that little bit of time just because of the loss of value. But I like that. That's a good talk we're going to do next. I'm going to put that down so that I give you guys a class on private mortgage insurance because it's actually a really good way to make money. But let's keep going. So obviously, high demand, low supply, price increases. We know that. So let's talk about how you can explain that. So video content, and this can be on Instagram. I don't think it'll actually let me click on this. I'll send you guys the hyperlink to these. I forgot that these are videos. Um, but so this guy was talking about his Instagram story, which is maxed out at 60 seconds. It drives me nuts. But here's a workaround. You can record a video, share it on Facebook, and link it to Instagram, and Instagram will carry the whole 2 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute video that you do. If you put a video directly out on Instagram, you got to cut it off at 60 seconds or have it as multiple stories. So stories can be a great way that you target just listed or sold, and then they get deleted unless you start saving them as highlights. So remember, your stories are always just partial. They're only there for a little bit of time. Instagram TV, which is on Instagram again, is like your own video channel on Instagram, and it's just like YouTube, and it's for longer form pre-recorded videos. So, for example, let's say you want to go and showcase a new home area, you could do Tour Tuesdays. And every Tuesday, you could go out and do some videos of some of the new homes that are coming out, or new builds, or a new specific area, whatever your niche is, and then feed into their educational content and tips. And Annalise, that could be a great video that you do where you could talk about private mortgage insurance and talking about the pros and the cons about it and showcasing on a piece of paper what people would pay per month for it. So another one is you can feature your favorite local donuts or coffee shops because remember, people want to know what you're doing. So you can upload a video to your feed as a post, and you can do it up to a minute in length. Or if you have an open house, you can host it as a live stream. Instagram Live is really similar to Facebook Live, so then you can stream it in a real-time video to people who follow you. Once the live has ended, you can share the replay of it to your Instagram TV to build out your Instagram IGTV channel content. Whew, try saying that over and over, IGTV. Oh, I don't think you guys can hear that. On Instagram, you have several options for videos. So you could do inventory data, you could do pricing forecast. The second one in the middle here, that one's from Keeping Current Matters. They charge $79 a month, I believe. Oh, no worries. They charge $79 a month for their recording. And what they do now is the script. You log into your Keeping Current Matters app, and then your script will be there. You record yourself talking, and if it has slides, it'll add the slide in automatically for you. So it's actually, that's the only thing I do like about the Keeping Current Matters. I just don't like their direct share articles. But this story in the middle is that Instagram version. This person was doing videos on rent versus buy, and she got 32,000 viewers on it. And then this one was an opinion piece. It was a reel talking about the housing market and was it going to crash. So these people just literally took the information from Keeping Current Matters and they just spit it out, recorded it, and shoved it onto social media. This guy, again, I think when I click, it's going to try to play. So again, I'll send these to you guys as a link afterwards. This one did a Las Vegas home prices declined for the first time in 2 years. And what he did is he showed the news piece and then he talked about how the news was getting it wrong and explained it and then showed the true data for sales currently for Las Vegas to show that the prices were slowing down but still going up. Again, this one too, same thing. He did a media commentary. And again, I apologize, I'll send you the link for that one. These people do a monthly market update. You could do this specific to your area. Here it was on YouTube. It was 15-minute video. So again, I'll send you these links. Oh, no worries, Jen. She had to jump off, so we'll make sure to send her the recording. They got over 2,000 views on that, so it's a great place to have long form content as well. So you'll notice with me going forward, I'll be recording a lot of home buyer webinars, home buyer workshops, home buyer rent versus own, and I'll be putting all those long videos, those 15 to 45-minute videos out on YouTube, just like I do with the content from these classes. I put these on YouTube underneath my agent channel on YouTube. And it's because that algorithm will help push the rest of the channel in front of other people. So really good stuff to go and look on YouTube. Just do real estate market update, your area, month, year, whatever, and see how other people are doing it because they think this is really great content that we can explore. This one's an example of social media posts highlighting the shift from sellers and having momentum to buyers. So on the left was talking about before the shift, how you had bidding wars, how what the interest rate was, the down payment, the mortgage payment, and then how much that person would pay over listing price. Then on the right was comparing a home at 400,000 that was zero over list, $0 of the closing cost was paid, final price was 400,000, what the interest rate was, but how the seller paid it down to a certain amount, 10% down, and then the monthly mortgage payment was better than the lower interest rate mortgage payment because the person had paid $45,000 more in a home. So these type of things will really help you guys to showcase, yes, rates are up, but here's how the current market really can affect that. As rates go up again and we start getting into a competitive market, we're going to see where payments on houses go up, even though somebody has a lower interest rate. That's how we need to help educate them because this is a great visual for people to see. High rates scare them, but understanding that a lower rate at a higher purchase price is going to be a worse monthly payment, that'll really help clients feel comfortable moving forward. This one's another example. It was just highlighting the shift from sellers having momentum to the buyers. Again, this was just for Orange County in California, but these are different ways that you could just put the MLS data together to help people see it. Long Beach market update, again, same thing. And then again, keeping current matters totally free. You don't have to pay for their stuff to go and use their infographic. And then they use this infographic to post as well. So the social video and infographics, they all help to clarify the confusion that our clients are going through. So let's just take a moment and pause. I need to drink water. Let's review talking points that are specific to your sellers because we need to help adjust their expectations. So far, I'm sure that your seller pricing conversations have been rough because people have an expectation that their home should sell for a lot more because we just went through this crazy market. And I'm sure you've been getting resistance, but it's better to set the price in line with the market versus making a price reduction, right? Even better would be to advise the sellers on all their options to making their listing stand out from the beginning, standing above everybody else. And that's how we want to reset their expectations. This is where you need to be a student of your market for that client. Use the MLS data and put a case together to help you and your sellers get on the exact same page. This story is in the data. This is the data you want to have prepared in your listing presentations when you go and meet with them. Because other agents are just going to tell your client the price they want to hear, not the price that they have to hear. So we need to show them new listings versus pending and sold. How many homes went through a price reduction? What was the average list to sold price ratio? What's the average time on the market? Again, remember these people think that their home's going to sell within 3 days. And then how many listings ended up being expired? So depending on how motivated of a seller you have and what your competing listings are, you may want to suggest right from the beginning that the seller include a seller paid rate buy down. How do you explain that to them, right? Great question. Here's how I propose that you explain this to them. Here's the exact script you can use. Would you be open minded to a strategy that doesn't require price reduction and attracts more buyers to consider your home versus other homes? And then let me just see chat here. I see I got a question. Jennifer, I'm seeing quite a few new listings that are straight off the gate offering buyer costs. And even though those homes are priced slightly higher, they are selling quickly. Exactly. And it's because of the way that they're being marketed, because again, we're hitting the issue for clients that the interest rate makes their payments high. But when we show them that the sellers are going to be willing to buy down their interest rate from the beginning, we're helping buyers feel confident. So let me just show you how that would look. This is the seller paid rate down. So instead of asking the seller to lower the price of the home, like you're seeing, is that buyers win big by negotiating that some of the seller concessions go towards buying down the rate of that mortgage. We can work together to help it this way. We can help show your sellers that they're going to get less cancellations, less price reductions, and increase the buyer's affordability, because these are what the seller and the buyer are both struggling to do in this market. So this is the tool that I use. I make clear and concise messages on the payment for the client, and you guys get this every single week on the newsletter. On the left, I show the client what their market rate and price is. So if they're purchasing a house for 675, their loan amount is 607 because of their down payment. Today's interest rate was at 6.125%. Their monthly payment was going to be $4,050 a month, and then their cash to close was just under 74,000. Now I show this both to the seller and to the buyers. So now I show my buyers first, if we ask for a price reduction of 25,000, so we drop the house to 650, keep the rate the same, their monthly payment does come down a little bit. They save $139, and their payment goes down to 3,900 by asking for 25,000 less. Seller gets a little bit less, everybody gets a little bit less, buyer gets a little bit less, they save a little bit more each month. But if the seller paid mortgage insurance and interest rate buy down, so in this scenario, instead of our $25,000 price reduction, the seller went ahead and gave them a $12,500 credit, kept the sales price at 675, dropped the interest rate down to 5.5. The monthly payment came down to 37. My client now saves $316.60. This is why it's so powerful to work with a lender that gets it, because when you're listing your house, I can explain this in black and white to your sellers to help them understand. A client thinks $25,000 price reduction is going to give them better scenario. But if we cut that in half and you get a reduction basically of 12,500, sellers or buyers now save $316 a month. That is huge. Here's the monthly payment difference. So market rate and price, zero savings. Price reduction of 25,000, they save about 140 a month. Seller buy down of mortgage insurance and rate buy down, but just the $12,500 credit, they save 316 a month. In order for the client to save 316 a month, they'd have to find a house listed at $57.5 thousand less. So they would have to find a much less desirable home in order to save this much money. That's a pretty huge win. Yeah, I agree. It is a huge win. She said, I just explained to my seller that although we are listing a little higher, buyers love money savings out of their pocket. They still get what they're asking, and the buyer saves out of pocket. It is a huge win because buyers, when they move in, they've got the expense of moving, setting up the utilities, maybe buying curtains, maybe buying new furniture. There's all these different expenses that go into buying a home. So any pennies that we can leave in their pocket is going to make them feel really good about proceeding. So here's savings over 5 years, which is another powerful tool for the buyers. And these are the exact same scenarios. So in 5 years, just buying down that interest for my buyers today will save them almost $24,000. If they take that $24,000 savings and add into that the fact that they got another 12,500, they've made a lot more money than buying a less affordable home or by offering less. If they offered less in that house, they would have saved 6,800. So that's a huge saving, but buyers can't see that and sellers can't see it until we put it in black and white like this for them. So their seller buy down means the buyer will pay a lot less interest over the life of their loan if they kept that interest rate forever, which we all know typically most people change a mortgage within the first 3 to 5 years. Two, the clients will be able to qualify for a higher loan amount because now their interest rates are less. So now they can actually afford to buy those properties they really do want. And then three, clients are going to be eligible for better mortgage programs that could have potentially have lower debt to income ratio requirements. So win-win-win for buyers for sure. So how do we explain this to buyers? And again, that's why it's so important that you work with a lender that actually understands these concepts, because this is part of how I present this to a buyer. Here's that script that you tell your buyer. Would you be open-minded to a plan that reduces your interest rate and increases your buying power and it doesn't cost you anything? That's all it takes to open up that door. By showing them everything put together with videos, we can show them how to use this strategy to sell their house. So you guys have probably seen this a little bit. This is my listing website that I use. We can all utilize this. Anytime you have a listing, just let me know. And what I did is on this one, it was one of the very first seller buy downs that we've ever done. So what I actually did is created this website and we sent it to the seller. So we did a YouTube video. It was super easy. We just recorded on Zoom. I uploaded it as a private video on YouTube. And it talked about why we love the home, what was so unique and special about this home from the seller's perspective and from the seller's agent. We included her property details, all of the pictures that she had on the MLS, her contact information was underneath the map and all of that. And then inside this blurred out financing, when people clicked on this, it went to the seller buy down strategy that we just went over. And this was a personalized video from me to the seller explaining what I just walked you guys through. This helped the seller to understand why we were asking them to consider doing this right from the beginning so that we could sell this house. So those are different things because that seller didn't need a lender to buy their next house, but that was something that I wanted to do to help my agent because that was really important, is her being able to articulate to her seller why we were suggesting this. And then we remodified this presentation and put it out as a flyer. And then that way it was inside the listing box with the QR code so people could go there and look at all those financing details. So do people prefer a competitive advisor versus generic and average or call centers? And they absolutely need a competent advisor. So you need to level up your knowledge and skills, which you did by showing up today at these classes. And now you can deliver that value. And then with us as a team, we can create a full package to your client. Let me know if you have a scenario where the seller buy down might be appropriate, where you have a listing that you're struggling, anything like that. Go ahead and scan that QR code, reach out to me, call me, whatever you guys need. And then we will work together to create that seller paid buy down. We'll create your listing, website presentations, anything that you need, or just do some one-on-one coaching because I want to help you strategically plan and grow your business where you want it to be. So let's wrap this up because I apologize. We are so close to being at the hour mark. So let's just review a few areas of what we learned and how this is going to help you. Here are the top 3 listing sources first. Your database of past clients and sphere of influence is, of course, the top source for your future clients. Getting referrals from this circle is crucial. Get ready to tap into an increase in expired listings and distressed homeowners too, because other agents don't know how to strategically list and sell these homes. So there's going to be an opportunity for you to snag expired. So here's a few strategies to consider doing. First, go to outreach. First, go to outreach is to your database of past clients and sphere of influence. Here's a sample text or email that you can send them. Hey, what? How hope you and the family are well. Was thinking about you the other day. The housing market is cuckoo. I'm sending home equity updates to my friends and clients. Are you curious about the new value of your home? We do this annually for every one of our clients. We do an annual mortgage review where I break down what's happening in the market, break down their home's value. But when I see huge moves in equity throughout the year, I will send out constant housing market updates to clients. This is a great way to get in front of them, even though it's not their anniversary now. People are always curious about the value of the home. This is fishing. What do you need to catch fish? Well, it's got to be great bait and somebody else because I'm not going to fish. But equity updates are going to get you conversation. So keep a list of all your clients by anniversary date. On the month of their anniversary at a minimum, you need to do a 5-phase annual review game plan with them. So first is email to connect with them and say happy home anniversary. Hard to remind them it's their home anniversary and time for them to schedule their review with you. My team sends out a questionnaire through Google Forms, and we ask the person if anything personally in their life from professional houses and finances have changed. And then with my agents, we do a deep CMA report and schedule a Zoom to review with the client. Then I always follow up and ask for a review or online review and a referral. Again, it's always reminding people that you want to build your business with more people like them. So what does your business look like if you're reaching out to your clients annually? And even if you don't have a huge database yet of past clients, using this exact same game plan for everybody that you do new on Facebook that could potentially become a client for you later is huge. This will set you apart from other agents. This will get you a lot more buyers and sellers for the market, and this will help you pivot when things constantly change. Sorry. So I'm sure both you have buyers and sellers who are just waiting to time the market right. So here's a sample text that you could give them. One reason many sellers didn't sell is uncertainty of finding their next home. The inventory list is exactly what they were waiting for. Now is your time to connect with them. So you can say, remember how you wanted to wait to sell your house and time that market. Now is that time that you've been waiting for. Sellers are at or near the top of the market. Unlike earlier this year, there is more homes for sale, which now means that you'll be able to find your replacement home, but you don't want to keep waiting because that move is going to change. Because you're showing up and wanting to grow your business, I'll make sure to email you both a scripting book that I created and an event planning booklet. My way that I do business is always try to keep things very, very, very affordable. So the event planning booklet that I'm going to send you, it's got really affordable events, simple, fun things to do. And it's also got elaborate ideas, 2 steps, the monthly idea. So it's however you want to build that for your future going forward. But it's a great way for you to connect with either the area that you want to farm or your sphere of influence. And I am working on another booklet that is going to be geared to farming renters. So as soon as I'm finished writing that out, I'll make sure that you guys get that for being part of this class. So the other one is the scripting that works, and it's helping buyers and sellers and helping with scripting on the text, what to say, how to get through some of those uncomfortable conversations that do happen. So I'll shoot those over to you guys. So just review and summary, we've talked about what to say right now, how to deal with that, unlocking the inventory, which I'm going to send you the notes on the event planning. There's also going to be an expired game plan that I'm going to be doing this next week too, because I really think this is a great time now to start going after those for sale by owners and expired because they are struggling to sell like there is no tomorrow. And then overcoming cancellations by, instead of doing a price reduction, solving buyer affordability by doing that seller buy down. And again, we can utilize that listing website I have, or in the MLS notes, you can put in there in the private notes, seller is offering 1 to 2 or whatever the percentage is that your seller has decided, seller buy down assistance. So this will really help those clients. So as always, I really appreciate that you guys are showing up. You're committing to your goals. And I want to always be there to help you with anything that you need. So you know more than anybody, just reach out anytime that you need anything at all. And like always, I promise to wrap this up in an hour. So we are done. Let me know if you guys have any questions or feedback.